Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this very special edition of the AnCan Art Friends. We are so glad to have you here, despite some of our technical issues. If you are here with us live, we always love to see you. Hannah, we just need to go ahead and get started. We have people who are super creative and want to go ahead and get this project rolling. So tell us, what do we have tonight?
Thank you, Alexa. Thank you, thank you. Okay, well, thank y'all for joining us today. So we're going to be painting some koi fish today. So I'll go ahead and walk you through everything you're going to need. Now, you might be thinking, why in the world, Hannah, am I looking at two different canvases? Well, that's because whenever I created the this painting, the prototype, that's all I had. But honestly, I love the idea of doing what's called a diptych. So it's where you basically treat two canvases as one, as if they were one. It's called a diptych. So when you put them on a wall, they hang together like this. And so you can kind of connect the dots, how it's supposed to be displayed. So that was the idea behind this, but you do not have to have two canvases, okay? In fact, if you want to just do the regular one, do the regular one, okay? I have an 8 by 10 size. You can use a 9 by 12. That's usually the standard, what I usually use. 8 by 10, whatever you got, okay? I want you to do that. So, got our canvas right here. And again, this is what I will be painting on. But again, that is another example for you, okay? Just to do on two little canvases. So I also have water. I have a napkin. I have my palette, very dirty palette. And here are my colors. So, of course, we want white. Let me bring back one of those paintings you can see. There we go. So, of course, we want some white. We'll want blue. I mean, preferably if you have a light blue, that would be great, but we can make light blue if you have just regular blue, okay? So just some kind of blue. It does not matter. We also want teal. So teal, one of my favorite colors ever. If it reminds you of the ocean, crystal clear waters, that's what we want, teal. And that's going to be for the water, for the background. For our lily pads, of course, we want some green. We're also going to use a little bit of yellow. So green and yellow. And then what else? For the outline, I just thought it would be fun to do something different for the outline, which is why I used purple. That's the only reason why. As you can see, I outlined the lily pads in purple. I just wanted to do something different, something to make the lily pads just sort of pop out. So if you like that effect, then you can have a purple. We'll also want for the koi fish themselves, orange and red. And of course, white, which I already counted, and black, which I have to find, but black paint. And that should be it. So it's essentially the entire rainbow. Um, yeah, the whole rainbow plus teal. Who would have thought, right? Okay, so now we have the colors. So here are the brushes. I'm going to be using one of these for the background. This is a flat brush. It's 3/4 inch. It's my standard. I use it a lot. Flat brush, 3/4 inch. I do want to, if you are using a tiny canvas, then you can scale down if you want and do a smaller flat brush, just to match it up. You know, a small canvas, small flat brush, pair it up like that. But I have the 8 by 10, so the 3/4 inch is perfect. I'm also going to have a smaller flat brush as well. And you could have anywhere from like a 1/2 inch to whatever size this is. This is a size 4, it looks like. So just something smaller, that's all. We're going to be using this smaller one to create our lily pads. So smaller flat, the larger flat. We also want some round brushes. So this one's one of the smaller ones that I can use. Um, Honestly, whichever is comfortable for you. I definitely want to use one of the, where did it go? Where did it go? I'll find it. definitely want to use one of the larger round brushes. That way we can create the shape of our koi fish, okay? I might use this one, but really anything that'll help you to get the shape of that koi fish. So I could even use one of the smaller ones and that'll be fine. But again, I would be using one of the larger, maybe size 6 round brush, but can't find it right here. And that's about it. So if you like, this is one of those paintings where we do want to use the smallest brushes that we have, especially for our koi fish, okay? Our koi fish and maybe the ripples on the water, but that's about it. So do you guys have questions for me? And I went through that kind of fast, so let me know. Okay, all right. Got my water here, so I'm gonna set these aside. We are gonna work on the background first, okay? Now the background is gonna be that water, and it's gonna be a gentle mix of a light blue and teal. So I'll go ahead and pour out my white, my teal, and my light blue. I mentioned earlier that, of course, not everybody has a light blue just on hand. If that's you, then you can actually mix a lot of white, a little bit of blue together. So go ahead and do that now. A lot of white, a little bit of blue. That'll give you a light blue. So I have this one here. Let's pour that out. Shouldn't need too much. The white paint is going to be our real blender. So it's going to blend these colors together. Can I hear somebody with a question?
Can I ask you about your teal?
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of kind of teal. Oh, yours is light. Okay, I think it answered my question.
Yeah,
I happen to have that teal like right on my palette, and I'm like, yeah, that's the color.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's
right
very
next to
light.
that darker teal.
It's very light. But again, if you also have a light teal or a turquoise or something, you can also lighten it up with the white, okay? So a lot of white, little bit of teal. Pour out my white paint. Okay. Now, I am going to grab one of my flat brushes, okay? So for me, it's going to be the larger one since we're using the background, or we're putting in the background. First thing I want to add, well, let me explain the background first. So we're going to cover the entire background by going back and forth between the white and the blue and the teal. So we're going to do a lot of double dipping, okay? So every time I go and I go to refill my brush with one of the colors, I'm going to dip it into the side of the paint. That way I'm not contaminating the whole thing. So we're going to go back and forth between all of that. And then later on, we're going to pick a few spots to go back to, and we're going to create small swirls. Do you guys see those swirls right there? They're very subtle, but they're there. They're definitely there. We're just going to pick, I don't know, 2 or 3 spots to create these little swirls in, and then that'll be it. So you can see the background, it moves from like a light blue to an even lighter blue to that teal. So it's a lot of mixing going on. So now I can take my brush. You don't really need water. I mean, if you got water, that's okay. You don't need it though. So pick one of the colors. Maybe I'll do a little white first. Get that on my brush. And since my teal is actually kind of, I don't know, it's still not as light as I would like it to be, I'm going to go ahead and tap a little teal on my brush. You can start with either one though, okay? Either one. And let's go ahead and swirl some of that color on. See how I'm swirling? It's not the same kind of swirling that I mentioned with that small brush. That'll come later. But I want to spread this paint for as far as it'll take me. I want you to notice that the more you go over one spot, the more those colors are going to blend together. So if I were to go over this entire thing a million times, it's going to get rid of some of those brush strokes. So I mean, personally, I want to keep some of that variation. I want to keep some of those paintbrush strokes. But if you want to get rid of them, that's okay. Just go over them again and again if you want to. I'm going to stay in just kind of the small patch here, but also kind of branch out too. Once you have run out of color, that can be whenever, okay? You can cover half of this, okay, if that's what your brush holds. Go back in and refill with both your white and your blue this time. So go to the other color. So I got white, working it into my brush. Gonna tap a little bit of blue now. Put that into my brush. And I'm gonna start on top of my teal. And I want to get it while it's still wet, okay? I want to start on top of my teal. That way some of this blends in together. See that? See that nice blending? Now, again, if we were to go over these sections again and again and again with the same brush strokes, all of that variation of color will disappear. So I'm just gonna swirl my brush stroke in there and then leave it alone. And that can be kind of hard to do. It's okay. But this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna add a little color, overlap a section there. If you wanted to, you could even go in with pure white and really lighten up some areas. See that? I just put pure white right there. And it's mixing pretty nicely with the blue that I already have on the brush. Mixing nicely with the teal that's already on the painting. And I'm leaving my brush strokes alone. I'm putting them down, I'm swirling them down on the canvas, and then moving on. Now I can take a little bit of pure teal there, put that right on the canvas, just to make a little bit of a darker spot. I can go over some of these areas that I've already put paint on. That white paint is really the universal blender. That's really what's going to help us blend everything. So even if you have spots like this where it doesn't blend, that's okay. You can take your white paint now after you wipe that dark paint off. You take that white paint and then spread it around. That white paint is going to blend it. And you may have to go a little further than you intended, but it's all right. You can rework it. See that white paint? Just kind of let it sink to the back. So make your way across the canvas little by little. Do y'all have questions? We want it to be pretty light for the most part. So be sure and use that white paint pretty generously, especially if your blue paint was already pretty dark to begin with. Definitely use a lot of not black paint, a lot of white paint. Opposite. We definitely want to have a smooth painting though. So I don't really see too many lumps and bumps anywhere. We want it to dry in a pretty timely manner. But just keep on swirling. Some of your brush strokes are going to sink back into the background, but for the most part, we'll be able to see these subtle hints of swirls and color. No questions? This is so fun though. I love doing stuff like this. Swirling. I could even go back over some spots and maybe even just put some pure teal right there. Maybe put some pure blue right on top of it. It's not terribly dry, so it still kind of blends. And that's because I went from one side to the other pretty quickly. There we go. I really love the way the blue and the teal mix together. So pretty. There we go. And when you're finished with that, you can rinse your brush. You can rinse your brush, and maybe in another 2 minutes or so, I will show you how to use the smaller brush so that you can get those smaller swirls. To rinse it and then to wipe it down. Okay, so just for now, start thinking about where you want to place your koi fish and where you want to place your lily pads. So koi fish, I would say a good number to think about, a good number of fish to think about would be maybe 2 or 3. It really just depends on you and how you're able to paint, uh, how much detail you really want to put in there. So for me, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total within both of these. These are supposed to be put together. But if you really look at it, there's only 3 on this one, 2 on this one. So I'll show you. I actually didn't show you, but I have another example, different example. And I wasn't going to show you just because there's so many koi fish and it took a long time. It took a while. So that's why I say choose how many, just do a small amount of koi fish for now. And you can always add more later too. I'm going to show you how to add more even after you've put the lily pads on there. So again, there's, a bunch of fishies there, but at least that gives you some ideas on how to put the patterns on there. It's really fun just kind of putting the patterns on.
And also, that one gave a lot of color ideas.
Yeah, that was that kind of the idea too. I like this guy, the one with the red circle on his head. It's my favorite.
I like him too. That's the one.
Yeah, he's my favorite. But just start thinking about how many koi fish you want, 2 or 3, unless you feel confident enough to do more. You don't really have to think too much about how many lily pads to do, because honestly, they're so easy. Literally just, they're circles. They're circles that you paint in. So you can have them anywhere. You can have as many as you want. I would say a good area to have them might be like maybe a little closer to the top or perhaps closer to a corner, something like that. Maybe reserve the middle for your fish with, 1 or 2 little smaller lily pads here and there. But just an idea. Okay. Now, before this gets too dry, I do want to teach y'all how to put those smaller swirls in there. I will do the same thing as far as filling up my brush. So I'm going to grab the white and then grab one of the 2 colors. So maybe some blue. So I'm double dipping again. And I'm just going to pick a wet spot. So for me, this is a wet spot here. And start to swirl. I want some of these brush strokes to just kind of be apart from each other, like there's a lot of space. Now it's not quite blended in. So once I have a good amount of swirls out here and I'm running out of paint. That's the big idea. I'm running out of paint here. I'll do the opposite now. I'll go into my teal. So I'll grab white and do the opposite color, grab my teal, and put the teal right on top of it, basically following my footsteps. So now I have all of these much smaller brush strokes. For me, I have a ton of white paint still on my brush. So for me, I'm going to have to balance that with extra teal. And you can do that too. Think about the idea of balance. You have too much white, add a little bit more of the other colors. You have too much of the other colors, add a little bit more of the white. Balance it out. There you go. Lots of swirls. So that's one spot, and I can put, and maybe pick one more. So do the same thing, grab a little white,
You
grab a
have
little.
yellowish coming through on the screen. Is that because of the blue and the something?
Oh,
You know, I mean green. It's like a greeny, yeah. It's like
oh
a
yeah,
color.
yeah,
Looks like
yeah.
a.
That's just the teal. I'm sure the teal just looks a little.
It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. Just
Yeah. I'm
just
putting.
observing.
Yeah.
Hannah, it looks like
Oh,
anime water.
oh, interesting. Well, thank you. Keep swirling. I want to maybe do some larger swirls just because I don't want them to be concentrated on just one spot. So again, I'm balancing. Like I feel like there's a bit too much of my blue showing through, so I'm gonna add a little extra white on top. This one could use a little more blue on this side. I definitely want to swirl it a little bit wider so that again it's not really I don't really see like a huge obvious patch here, and that's because I'm spreading the swirls a little bit further apart, so they're bigger swirls. Balancing out with white wherever needed and vice versa. I'm just going back and forth between all of them. And we really only need the, I don't know, one or two spots. Ooh, I like this
White
spot.
underneath when you started.
Nope. I did both of those colors. So I double dipped with the white first and then one of the two on top of that.
Well, you know my questions
Yeah.
don't have anything to do with paint.
I think for you, I think you could just go straight into one of your colors, so one of either the teal or the blue, and then go on top of it with pure white. I feel like that would work with you. There we go. I keep telling myself that's enough, and I keep going. But we also want some of these areas to dry, so I'm not gonna touch it anymore. Now, first thing I'll do.
I do like the effect though, the effect of it. It's very
Yeah.
nice effect.
Good. It's fun. It's fun too. Okay, so I'll put my down. Let me show you guys again the picture. So because it's still wet on some areas here, we still, of course, want it to dry. We will go ahead and add some of our lily pads there. I'm going to aim for some of those areas like the corner, maybe, the sides somewhere. I'll aim for those areas first with the lily pads. And if there's a certain spot where your water mixes in with your green, that's okay because those colors are very mixable. Like you can do no wrong with mixing those colors. So that'll be okay. It's only when we get to putting that first layer of paint on the koi fish that we want it to be completely dry. The way it'll work with the koi fish is that while I'm waiting for my lily pads to dry, or maybe waiting for a different koi fish to dry, I'll be putting the first layer of basically the basic shape of the koi fish. So we'll be painting white paint. We'll be painting the koi fish in pure white, and then we'll let it dry before we put anything else on top of it. So the actual bright colors, those came much later in the painting. So you can see, same thing. So I'll teach you guys also, of course, how to do a full koi fish, but then also how to just kind of make it look like they're sticking out from underneath a lily pad, either the tail or the head. So pick whichever half you want coming out of the lily pad. So I'll break it down into both of those styles, or both of those types. But we will start off with the lily pads first, as our very basic things. So I'm going to go ahead and pour out my green and my yellow. It's pretty wet there. I don't think I have too much more green left. Hopefully enough. Oh, that's plenty. So green, but also some yellow, because we want to put a little bit of yellow in there just so it's not so flat. Go. Now, I know I mentioned earlier that we can use any one of our smaller flat brushes, but if you find it easier to make these lily pads using any one of your pointy brushes, so your round brushes, then you use that, okay? I want you to use whichever ones feel comfortable for you. They'll come out the same way, though. Does not matter. So now that I have my colors, I'll start off with my green. Now, just because I feel like it's easier to create the bigger lily pads, that's what I'll do. I'll create a bigger one for you, but whichever size, make a bunch of different sizes, okay? So I'll start in this area just because I want one in the corner and it's dry here. So I'm going to start with the outline of it, the circle. And it is not going to be a perfect circle. We don't really want it to be a perfect circle. Lily pads are not perfectly circular. Once I have the outline there, or at least most of the outline, you see how that's not perfect at all. Then I can go back in and double dip, put some yellow, and then start to swirl that yellow in there from the middle. And I can just kind of move my brush around in a circular motion. That way some of the yellow blends in. And some of it might disappear, like mine. My yellow disappeared, and that's okay. I can always add more in the middle. Add it in the middle. There we go. Now it's blended in. It's more subtle. And every single lily pad that you see is a little bit different. Like it's, again, not perfectly circular. The only thing they have in common is that it's lighter in the middle, and that's where the yellow comes in, lighter in the middle. So I can make my next one. Maybe I'll make a slightly smaller one right over here. Maybe I want it to come off the edge right there. Kind of make it, looks like it's going off the edge. And even though my aim wasn't very good and I kind of got some green right there, right in the middle, it's okay because the yellow will blend it in. And I can swirl it in from the middle. You can add more yellow if I want it to be a little bit lighter. Swirl it in from the middle. Now, later on, whenever I start making the koi fish, I could create one of the koi fish that goes underneath it, but I want to use a lily pad that's dry, so I might choose one of these guys over here. Actually, no, I have an easier way to do that. Never mind. I'll go into that in a little bit. Definitely want to make some more though, so maybe I'll jump over here. For me, I can never quite decide exactly what I want to do whenever I'm doing the painting. It just kind of comes to me whenever I'm in the moment and doing it. So I don't know how many lily pads I want to make. All I know is that I want some of them to be maybe sticking out. Some are gonna, maybe one or two are gonna be huge. Like maybe this one, maybe I'll make this one huge. And you can absolutely overlap some of your lily pads. Make it seem like some of them are just laying on top of each other. So I started off with the outline for the big one, double dipping into my yellow, swirling from the middle. Swirl from middle. This one's bigger, so I have to make some wider brush strokes just to blend it in. But that's all right. Now you will see that your brush strokes and your yellow will disappear the more you go over it. So I'm doing that too. So I can always go over it again, a little more yellow. And honestly, I might wait for it to dry before I add more yellow. It just keeps blending. It's probably not going to stop blending until I let it dry. So I might just leave this guy alone for a bit. I'll come back to it. Maybe I'll jump down here. For me, it looks like my entire background is dry now. So I don't have to be so careful about where I put these lily pads. So I'll put one in the corner here. I really love the corner lily pads. Something about them. Maybe I'll do one here. I definitely want some smaller ones, but the smaller ones, I think I'll do those later. Unless they're over here. You know, then they're not in any fish's way. But I'll definitely put some smaller ones in the middle, but later. Do y'all have questions for me? Everyone's concentrating now.
I am back.
Wait, who
I
is
see
that?
that it looks like you have a lot of swirls in your background.
Yes, yeah. Okay, so that's Katie. I didn't recognize you for a second.
I'm back. I know.
Yay. So yes, you can see a lot of swirls. I first actually started with the big brush. So
Yep.
this one.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I went back and forth between my blue, my white, and my teal. So that's
Okay.
how you swirl that in. And then
Okay.
later, after that, pick a few spots in the middle or somewhere in the middle
Uh-huh.
and do the exact same thing, but with a small round brush.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
let me know if you have questions.
That'll get me close enough. Thank you.
Uh-huh. How's everyone else doing? You okay? Now keep in mind, you guys will get a chance to go back and maybe add more lily pads here and there, because that's what I kept doing. I just as I was making my koi fish and jumping around everywhere, it just felt right to add maybe some small lily pads in one side, or maybe another one that was just kind of butted up against another one. So you can add those lily pads at any time. Can't really take away lily pads, but you can add them. Now, I would like to ask though, has anyone done anything creative this week? I hear some, or I see some like nods or head shaking.
I did painting with a twist, my boyfriend and I, and it was paint your dog. So I got
Oh, that's so cute. I love those. How did you do?
this was my second time. I can show myself and then show you guys. Hold on.
Oh, I used to love teaching those classes. I used to teach at places like that. And those pet painting classes were some of my favorites. Oh, you see Laurel? Oh,
It's a little
Oh,
wall.
that's so cute.
Not done.
oh,
It's just the beginning of it.
oh, I love it.
Face.
It's so cute. I know the face looks like my cat.
Cat.
I know, I love it.
And there was
Cute.
I'm copying something. Hold on. Here. I'm copying this.
Oh,
Hold on a sec. So there's gonna be a spider web, but I couldn't find that same background, so mine is like little mummy cats.
I love that. That background is so cool.
And then this border is
Oh,
it's little candy corns and like polka dots. It's gonna be cute.
Halloween.
oh, I love that. That's adorable. I love
Sorry,
Halloween.
my call dropped, guys, but
Yeah.
that's my dog. This is the one I just did. This is the one that I've done before, but this is the one, the orange one is, oh my God, I can't point.
Oh, look at them.
So
Oh,
yeah, the orange one I just did, my boyfriend did this one, and then these two are the ones I did in the past.
I love them. They look so good too.
Oh, doggy.
That was
I
me as a zombie. I did myself as a zombie, but that was last year.
Oh, it's so cool. I love it. Your doggies are so cute too.
Oh, they're the cutest. Thank
Those
you.
are so fun. Well, thank y'all for showing me. Love that. I miss those classes. Okay, guys. So even if you are still working on your lily pads, again, you can always come back to them. I want to get us started on the first layer of our koi fish. And I say that just because we definitely want that first layer of white paint to dry. So I just want to kind of get it established, and then we can move on back to the lily pads. So I think what I'll do is I'll show you how to do an entire koi fish first. And again, this is just the silhouette. It's a silhouette in white paint. So we're not putting any details in there, just a silhouette. So I'll show you how to do a full koi fish, and then I will show you how to make half of a koi fish one at a time. So maybe first the front half, and then like the second half after that. After you've created the half, then you can actually cover it up with a lily pad, cover up the rest of it, or sorry, cover up the other side, the side that you didn't paint with a lily pad. I hope that makes sense. Instead of trying to squeeze a fish coming out of an already existing lily pad, I personally feel like it's easier to paint half of it first and then just cover up the rest of it with a lily pad. That's how I think, but I can show you the other way though if you want me to. So let's start with a whole koi fish. Now your koi fish, let me show the other example real quick. They can be big, they can be small, okay? All different kinds of sizes. So I really, whatever size koi fish you're comfortable with doing, do that size, okay? So if it's a gigantic koi fish, hey, that's okay. And again, I'm going to use pure white because we want the silhouette. So maybe I'll put this on the side. I think that's dry by now. So this guy right here, maybe I'll paint him right here. So I always like to start on the bigger portions. So I'm going to be creating the front portion, and then I'll taper it down. Taper it to where it's thin down here. I'll use one of my tiny brushes. So if you are more comfortable using your smallest brush, or maybe another one, then use that one. This one I think is maybe a size 2, I think. So start with the head first. That way you can squish your brush down. Take more paint. Stretch the body, my little fishy there. Just kind of floating in the water. As I get further down towards the fins, I want to reload my brush and then maybe just press a little lighter. If you need some water to help you to make some smoother lines, dip your brush on the surface of the water. That way you can just kind of grab some and dilute the paint just a little bit. That way it's a little bit thinner. Don't need to dilute it a whole lot, just thin enough so that it'll seep through the canvas. See, there we go. More water means I can get thinner lines. So press down a little lightly. And then at the end there, you can see the fin. I can just brush outward, just kind of fling my brush outward, and that'll give me that fin. I can always put more paint up here, just kind of make it a little bit thicker. Now, koi fish, they tend to have like slightly more pointy lips over here. So I'm just gonna kind of adjust this. It's not exactly flat. It's not a flat head. It's a little more egg-shaped, and that's a better word for it. A little bit of adjusting, that should be good. So I definitely could have made this koi fish bigger, could have made it smaller, just depends on you and your comfort level. I'm going to grab a little more water, that way I can water down a little bit more of my paint. Just grabbing it off of the surface there. Mixing it in with just some of the white paint. Now I'm going to make another whole fish just so I can go through the entire process again for you, okay? You're welcome to make another one if you want to, but you don't have to, okay? Because remember, I mentioned earlier that it might be a good idea just to stick with 1 or 2 koi or 2 or 3 koi fishes, just because they can get a little detailed, okay? But I want to go through the process with you again so you guys can hear me and see me again. So I'll do a koi fish up here. So this is going to be a whole one again. And once again, I'll want to start at the head. So it's a nice big round head. And then I know that I want the body to just kind of curve down this way. So that's where I'm going to start to taper it down. I want it to curve down that way, so I'm going to start to taper it. Getting some thinner brush strokes as I move along down. Definitely utilizing that thin paint where I added the extra water. Press down very lightly. Maybe I can make the body a little bit longer. Now, it's very easy to make your fishies just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's okay. This little guy is going to be the big fish. So now that I want to create the tail, I'm at the thin part now, so I want to make the tail. So I'll take some of my watered down white paint, and that'll make it easier for me to fling the paint outward and just kind of create that that fin. Just kind of fling it out. It's okay if it gets bigger. I've seen some pictures of and pictures and paintings of koi fish where the fins at the back are just huge and they're flowing. They look regal even. So if you have a big regal fin, then good for you. Now, of course, we will want to make our fins on the side. So I want to point out that we have our larger fins on the side here, on closer to the head, and then some tiny little fins closer to the tail, smaller fins. So for the very first ones, the ones closer to the head, I'm just going to go up here somewhere. And I'm using my watered down paint, so it's my thinner paint. And you're welcome to use your tiniest brush for this part. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to swipe it out. And then just kind of start to fill it in by swiping towards the body. See that? Kind of feathering it out. So here's the other fin. I'm going to kind of measure it on this side. I want it to be on the same plane. So I'm going to stretch it out, kind of curve it, and then just brush it in, fling it outward. And that's not thick paint at all, just so y'all know. And it's okay. Now I can do it to the other one. So starting towards the head, looks like it's flying. Like it almost looks like feathers. So it's going to curve down and then feather it out towards the body. Feather it out towards the body. Again, using the thinner paint, that way it's easier to make those smaller details. And even with these fins, if they happen to just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, in those same paintings with the huge tails, I've also seen huge side fins as well. Regal side fins. Okay, so now the other fins, the smaller ones that are closer to the tail, they're really tiny. All I have to do is just kind of pick a spot that's kind of close to the really thin spot. Just kind of fling it out like that. 1 or 2 brush strokes. That's all you need. So same thing with the other side. Just let me refill here. 1 or 2 brush strokes that kind of fling out. And that's it. They look pretty ghostly. Now, if I wanted to, I could choose one of these fish to have a lily pad go right on top, like have a lily pad right on top of. In later, I would say in a little bit, whenever the white is dried, you can absolutely put a lily pad over some portion of it. If not, here's how you just kind of do half of a fish if you already know that you want a lily pad to cover it. So let's say I want the front half of the fish to peek out of the lily pad. So maybe right here. Yeah, maybe right here. I know that I'm gonna have a lily pad covering the tail and the back half of it. So I'm just gonna start with the head like I did before. Now I know I want it to face down, like it's going that way. I want it's going downward. So all I have to do is that. That's it. It's like a weird looking thing. It's slightly curved just because in my head I imagine it's curving coming from up here, curving around these fish. And then of course, because this is the front half that's showing, I do want to create the front fins. So again, I'll take my watered down paint and just kind of stretch them out, feather them out. And even then, I may end up making a lily pad that's really big and accidentally covers one or both of the fins. But it's better to have them there. It's better for them to be there. That way, you're not having to meticulously try and add a little bit of extra fish body. So that's all I need. So that's just the front half. So you're welcome to do that, or you're welcome to, just make the whole fish if that's what you want. If you're undecided, make the whole fish. Forgot I need to make the front half of the fish a little bit more egg-shaped. So a tiny bit more pointy. Give y'all another moment before I show you how to do the tail end. Concentration mode. I need to water down some more. Or my water. I mean my white paint with some water. There we go. Now the tail half is literally means just that. So we're just going to create a part here that tapers down to be really thin. So again, I'll take that watery white paint, and let's say maybe I want it to, I don't know, maybe it'll stick up from here. I don't know, like right here. So I've already established the direction. So I'm pointing it this way. So my fishy is going to start out a little bit thicker. This is the middle of its body. And then I'm going to swipe in the direction of the motion that I pointed out earlier. Have it taper. It's going to be thin. And then brush out the actual fin. I think I want this fin to be very regal. I want this fin to be like a floofy fin. I'm also gonna make this fish much bigger. Gonna widen him up a bit. There we go. And that leaves this area that can be covered up by a lily pad. Now, while you're waiting for your koi fish to dry, if you want to resume the rest of your lily pads, you can certainly do that. You can resume and make as many as you want. Do y'all have questions? Is there anything you guys want me to repeat? All right. I have really been like enjoying making koi fish and lily pads on hospital walls, or sorry, hospital windows. Whenever I go into either paint in patients' rooms, or most recently I painted like there's a rehab center that I go into, and they have huge windows when you first walk in, huge windows on the right side. And those windows just kind of curve and they lead you into the space, into the building. And so I was able to put koi fish and lily pads on like half of those windows. Well, the windows. A lot of fun though. If we have time, maybe I'll share a picture. No, I'm waiting for these guys to dry. So let me add more lily pads. There it is. So get more of my green. I definitely want some of my other lily pads just to start to overlap, or at least sit really close to one another. So maybe over here on this side, maybe I'll do another, like a smaller lily pad that just kind of butts up against these two. So I'm making the outline, and then I'll put yellow right in the middle, and it'll just mix as I start to blend, as I start to swirl outward. I mentioned earlier that I was trying to make this bigger one, a little bit lighter. So I think I can do that now. I can add more yellow on top of that. And now it's much more lighter. There we go. I mentioned earlier that once you've established your koi fish, you can put a lily pad over top of any of them. These koi fish, they don't have any other color on them. It's just white. So it should be very easy to push them into the back, cover them up with a lily pad. As you can see here, I just decided to cover up this guy's fin, or part of his fin, with a lily pad. And that was very easy because it's just a white fish. Add a little white or a little yellow there, and voila. So that was very easy to do. Really, at any point now, you can go over your half fish. So I'll take my green here and just kind of start to go over. It's a pretty sizable fish, so I think I want this lily pad to be kind of big. So I'm going over and beyond this area. And I can always stretch it to where it's a little bit, where it reaches a bit more. Covers up the fish a little bit more. But there you have it. Now I can put the yellow on top, continue as normal. And there you go. Now it doesn't look like a scary half fish just floating there. So keep on going with those lily pads. So I know that I will want to teach you guys how to do the coloring in a moment here. I accidentally turned this into 2 lily pads. I wasn't thinking about that. That's okay. At least it doesn't look like a half fish floating in the water. Not anymore.
Wait, now I'm confused. What's that? Oh, that was another fish that you added.
Yeah, down here, yeah.
I'm like, wait, that's a weird tail.
Yeah. Yeah, I showed y'all how to do like the first half, the beginning half of the fish, and then I jumped down to show you how to do the tail half.
I can't paint and watch at the same time, so
Yeah, no, I get it.
I listen, and then I
Yeah.
go, what did she just say?
No, that's why I get a little frustrated when I stutter a little too much. 'Cause I know you're listening.
You sound like you had a lot of coffee.
A lot of what?
Coffee.
Oh, no, I'm just really tired. That's all. My my uh
You really give your accent away, coffee.
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 Okay. Now try to decide I guess what colors you're going to use for your fish now. So I'm going to give the order of operations for colors, okay? So your lightest color and easiest, um, yeah, I'd say easiest to use would be your yellow. So yellow, if you're going to have any part of the fish yellow, use that color first. I'm going in order from lightest to darkest. So the next tier up is going to be orange. So orange is going to be the next color up. You can't really cover up your orange with your yellow because yellow's lighter. Okay, so think of it that way. You can't, it's really, really hard, or you really can't cover up the darker colors with the light colors. But you can do it the other way around though. So the next tier up is going to be red. The red is going to be the darkest color. So you can put the red over top of any of these colors except for maybe the black one, the black paint. Red is going to be, again, the darkest color. So maybe that one's the easiest to use, actually. And of course, the black, it's black paint. So it's going to be able to cover everything. It's a very strong color. So think of it in terms of lightest to darkest. So we're going to use our lightest colors first. And you don't have to have everything figured out. Honestly, I just played it by ear. Whenever I did all of these koi fish, all I knew was that I wanted a certain color on each of the fish. That's all. I didn't have any idea of what patterns. They just kind of happened. And that's exactly how you can treat every single fish. Just slather on some paint there. And then if you feel like putting a darker color on top, you can certainly do that. You can't put a lighter one on top though. So here's an example. I'm going to use my smallest brush. This one's even smaller than the one I was just using. And I'll start with yellow because yellow is going to be my lightest color. So grab some of that. Try not to grab some green. And I can choose to do maybe just part of the fish. Maybe I just want like a spot, or maybe I just want like a small portion of yellow on the fish. I can just put it on down and then move on. So maybe I'll just put this bit of yellow on my fish. Or, I don't know, maybe I want an entire fish to be yellow. So you can start to paint any of your colors, full fish, or you can have a white koi fish, because those exist as well. So I could just do this too. Put some color on there. Definitely going to try to smooth it out as best I can. Now, just naturally, we are going to maybe get a little bit of this color into the water, like overlap it a bit. It's just natural for that to happen. I mean, we're using tiny brushes, so makes sense. And that's okay. That's just the beauty of painting. Move from lightest to darkest, okay? So the next tier up after yellow is going to be orange. So I'm going to paint all of my fishies that I want to have orange on. I'm going to paint those next. Definitely rinse my brush. Definitely want to tap it on your napkin to get all the extra water off. So again, the next tier is that orange. Gotta pour some out. Don't need a lot, honestly. Our fish are pretty tiny. Okay, so I don't know, maybe I want a little bit of, maybe I want like a spot, an orange spot right in the middle of this guy's head. I can do that. Because again, the darker color can easily be painted on top of any of the lighter colors. So very easy to paint orange on top of yellow. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll do a big spot in the middle of this guy here. I'm just winging it. Maybe I've seen all types of spots on koi fish, even moving on to their fins as well. So if you can manage to put some color on their fins, you can even swipe it in the same way that you swiped the white paint. You can do that too. Maybe just a little there. Let's see. Well, maybe I'll add a little bit of orange in this guy's fin. Flowy fin. Maybe I'll put some black paint in there too later. I'm just going to be careful whenever I put some of these colors around the lily pads. Just take your time with it. There. I think I'm done with the orange. So maybe I will. What am I gonna do? I'll do the red now, because that's the next color up. After orange comes red. And then maybe I want another one with a spot right over here. When I had my puffer fish, Puffy, he had a perfect circle on the top of his head. Perfect black circle. He was a puffer fish.
Rest in
I
peace, Puffy.
Yes, baby. I think some fish even have like if you want to put more of a texture in there, you can tap. See how I'm just kind of tapping that red in there? I just remembered this now, but some or a lot of koi fish actually have that kind of texture. Just kind of tap it. I think I want to tap some orange into one of these yellow fish over here. So maybe some orange, I don't know, back here maybe. Yeah. This guy's got some freckles. Orange freckles. I like it. I like him. You know what? I'm even going to add some right here. See, none of these fish were planned out. So you definitely don't have to do that. Just have fun with the colors.
My fish told me they don't have to be koi fish. They could just be
Ooh,
fish.
I love that. Yeah.
Makes it a little easier for me.
That's true, though. They can just
We're
be
not stressed
fish.
out. We're good.
They can be whatever they want to
Like, I
be.
don't know. Why is that tail so fanned out? Because that's what happened.
It's because it's a different species, of course.
I gotta be me.
That's right. Okay, so I'm going to add my black paint, which isn't completely black because I can't find my jet black paint. So this one's called Pavement. So if it looks a little funny, that's why. It's not, it's just like a super, super dark gray. So I don't know where my black paint went. I had it right before we started this. So now I'm going to add this. You know, I just remember that even some koi fish can be mostly or completely black. So if that's what you want, you can do that too. I am just gonna put this here. Maybe tap some of the color in the fin. And my puffy, like my puffer fish, he had of course the perfect circle right in the middle, and then his other spots that were around that circle, they looked a little bit like petals because they were kind of oblong shaped, which I thought was really interesting. And I've seen other pictures. My puffer was just a special little guy, of course. I've seen other pictures of puffers and I don't really see that flower too often. Now, for me personally, I love like tapping. I love the way it looks when I tap this black paint on top of it because I just love that look. That's what I'm doing. I'm mostly tapping the black paint. Now I'm gonna leave it up to you whether or not you want to put eyes on your little fishies. I did. I don't know how I managed it, but I did. So I can show you how to do it if you want to try it. I think I'll add a little bit of red. Here we go. I'm trying to be as careful as possible. What's this one over here? Okay. I think I have a pretty diverse set of koi fish. Now, before I show you how to do the smaller details, I'm just gonna start to maybe just put in my tiny lily pads. So I know I definitely want some here and maybe another one right here. So that's what I'm gonna do. You guys work on your koi fish. Put my little lily pads. I'm just using my round brush just because it's already in my hand. I don't really need a bigger one anyway for a tiny lily pad. Maybe I'll put one right here, these two butting up against each other. And then maybe just, I don't know, one right here. Now, I do recommend getting in those last lily pads because one of the things I want to show you how to do is the outline of purple. And again, that is optional. I mean, if you like the effect, you can do it. And if not, you can just omit it and not do it. For me, whenever I was doing this one here, I just felt like the ones here that were overlapping, they just kind of disappeared into each other. So that's why I wanted to put some kind of outline. And at the time, my green was not fully dried, and some of it mixed in with the purple to create kind of an interesting looking color right there. So I happen to like that variation. I say that word variation a lot in this class. First thing though, I do want to teach you guys how to make some little eyes. And then also, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed this, but koi fish have little whiskers. So we're going to make little whiskers. So but we'll start off with the eyes. And I made like a little gray color. What we can do is pick the back of any one of your small brushes. So the pointy part of one of your small brushes, or you can get a toothpick to create the eyes. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of tap a little dot for each eye. So toothpick is a good choice, or I'll probably use the back end of this one because this one is the smallest one that I have. So I'll show you how to use both of them. I just need a little bit, so all I'm going to do is just grab a little bit of this black paint and just mix a little bit in with my my white. You can even mix with your end, like the other end of the brush. Didn't have to be a thing. So I've got like a dark gray now. So now I can take this gray and choose a fishy, maybe this guy, and tap the eyeball in. Just make a little dot. And then I do want to refill after every eyeball. So refilled and got some more, because that'll make your eyeball more smooth and more round if you refill. Look at him. So cute. I love my little guy. So that's how you do it with the end of your smallest brush. And with a toothpick, it's the same thing. So take your color. You might have to like really try and scoop it up though, because the end of the toothpick is so tiny. But it's really hard to see, but there's a good amount on top of there. So now I can take it and again, tap or make little circles. That one, I know that one's hard to see. So maybe you can see this one a little better, this eye a little better.
Hannah, I have a totally one of my random thoughts coming to you.
Oh no.
You know what the yellow koi fish reminds me of?
The yellow one. I don't know.
Big Bird.
Big Bird. Is it the eyes too?
I don't know if it's just the color scheme. I'm just like, it's Big Bird.
Oh, it's Big Bird. That's gonna be this fish's name now. This fish is called Big Bird. I love him. Ooh, yes, we have some whiskers to make as well. For these whiskers, I had used my smallest brush and I was just really careful with it as best as I could. However, I'm gonna see if I can do the whiskers, but with the end of my smallest brush again. So of course you want to wipe it down, on your napkin. If you just use it for black paint, wipe it down. But I'm going to see if I can do it with this, and I'll let you know. Otherwise, we'll do it the old-fashioned way and use our tiniest brush. But let me try on Big Bird here. Big Bird's ready for some whiskers. So it's just scrape it out. That's all it needs. Kind of works. If you want a big old thick whisker, this is the way to do it. So I'm just scraping it out like that. Same thing with this one. You can hear the scraping against the canvas. Yeah, honestly, this might still be the best way to do it. So I think I do recommend you guys doing it this way, either with the end or maybe even with the toothpick. Because I had some trouble doing it with my smallest brush. Oh yeah, even with the toothpick, it works pretty well.
You hungry, Mama?
Like you might have to scrape it a few times, but it'll get there. There we go. Now, we just have 2 more steps after this. And then that's it. So, I'll show you how to do the outline. And then I'll also show you how to do the ripples. Now, I feel like some of your koi fish might still be drying, or might still need a few minutes time to dry, maybe 2 or 3 more minutes to dry. So we do want it to dry before we put the ripples on top of it. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do the purple outline if that's what you want to do. Of course, if you don't have purple on hand, you can always mix some blue and red together, and that'll give you purple. So I'm going to take my smallest brush. Now, in this case, I'm taking my smoothest brush because my small brushes are not smooth. And if you want smoother lines, it does help to, again, grab some water off the surface of your cup. Mix it in with a little bit of your purple. And then just start outlining. We want a lot of these lines to kind of be a little bit wavy because lily pads, they don't have that perfect circle form. You want to mimic nature a bit.
Get you some food.
And some of your lily pads might still be a little wet, and it'll drag some of the purple in and mix a little bit. And that is okay. I'll probably give it another 2 minutes, and then I'll show you how to do the ripples. I'm mixing a different kind of purple just because I want to. I'm using up the blue and the red that I already have on the palette. Not bad. Just because I just didn't want to pour out any more purple. Definitely need some water though. Water that down a little bit. Oops. Now for the ripples on the water, of course, we will use just white, just plain white paint. All right, I think that's that. Now, of course, if your koi fish is not completely dry, it's okay. You can come back to it later. For the ripples, my starting point is going to be around the lily pad. So these ripples, all they do is they reflect the shape of the lily pad. But I mean, of course, I'm not completely making a full circle around the lily pad. They're just swipes that sort of go within the same direction as the lily pads. And you don't need much at all. Just, I don't know, 2 or 3 swipes around each lily pad. Definitely want to overlap whatever else is there. So let me take put this down to the side there so y'all can see that. And again, because I want some smoother lines, I want to just kind of water it down a bit. Yeah, water down my white a little bit. And then why don't I start on maybe this one right here. This one has the most circular area. So I can press down as light as I can, just make a little swipe. A little swipe that goes on top of anything else that might be underneath it. So it can be a long swipe, it can be a short swipe. They'll probably end up being a little bit longer just because you're trying to get the hang of the swipe. But I'm moving along the roundness of the lily pads. There's got to be a better way to say that. So over here, for example, I've got this little guy underneath the water surface. So go right on top. And it really does help to push it back. Like it really makes it seem like it's in the water. So I can take another one, just kind of move it out here a bit more. Maybe I'll put some right here. Maybe one in this corner. And again, you really only need maybe 1, 2, or 3 swipes around the lily pads. It's not even around all of them either. I'm focusing on the bigger areas first. So I've got a lot of space right here. A lot of space there. Go right on top of your fish. Big space there. Big curve there. This area is going to be a nice one. It actually looks kind of nice when my bristles kind of lose some of the paint, so I see the bristles. Kind of like that. Now in some areas, if you want, you can put like a little, I guess like a corner swipe where it almost looks like it's in the corner of 2 lily pads that are next to each other. There's a lot of them right here. So a little corner swipe right there. There's a corner swipe there. So it's just 2 different swipes that move in opposite directions. So I can start here in this corner maybe. Gonna swipe out there, swipe out the other side. And I don't know if that's an accurate kind of ripple, but it's there. there's a little swipe there. All right. The ripples are the very last thing to do. So is there anyone who wants to share?
I don't even have the purple around the lily pads yet, just one.
That's
Okay,
okay.
and that's all right.
Hannah can entertain us with
Yeah.
some jokes or something. She can tell a story.
I'm a
what-
joke teller. I haven't really experienced that.
no, not at
Anne-Marie, I
all.
see you. I see you, Anne-Marie. I'm coming.
Thank you. Saved me. Oh, there you are.
Oh my
you're blurry again.
goodness.
You always gotta put it in front of your face.
There you go. Oh, look at the fins on that one. That's so pretty.
I love
And
your colors.
I know I love that it's so dark on the outsides of the lily pads. It's a nice contrast. I love the yellow one in particular though. Like his pattern is just really pretty.
I know. I loved like the little stripes and streaks you gave them.
Yeah,
They have
yeah.
like really distinct personalities.
Yeah. It kind of looks like you use watercolor though on some of it.
I don't have, I'm not at home, so I don't have the paint with me. So
Yeah.
I use colored pencils and I use those, what did I use last week? The same things I used, these guys.
Oh yeah, those. Yes, the water soluble, is that what they are?
Yeah,
Pastels? Yeah, okay. Those are really handy too.
and they're so easy to use. It makes everything go faster.
How cool. No, you did great on it.
Thank you.
Very
I'd
Yeah.
like to try it with the acrylics.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you, Hannah.
Mm-hmm. Ooh,
Nope.
Marianne.
There's
Oh,
mine.
look at them. I love them. I love that it sort of looks like we're looking at an aerial view. Like our view is further up from what you see here. I
Yes.
like the way that looks though.
Like drone footage.
Yes, it's drone footage.
Well, I had a
Oh,
lot of fun doing it. I can't wait to do another one.
yeah.
And, add more fish in
Absolutely.
there. Yeah, this was so much fun.
Good. Yeah,
Well,
we'll have
I'm gonna say goodnight because it's late in Connecticut. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
have
Good
it-
night, Marianne.
Good
thanks
night.
very much.
Super cute. Thanks,
Of
Marianne.
course. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, you're welcome.
I
Good
love
night,
them.
everyone.
Good night.
Here's mine.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
We're coming.
I'm trying to figure out how to turn my camera around. Oh, there we go. And so
Oh,
What?
this is fabric. So
Oh,
when I come to class, I always try to figure out how to do it in fabric.
That's all.
And then I use ink tints, pencil, and textile medium.
wow. What a cool idea.
oh my
That
God.
I
it
know.
shadowed. Like I think it's really cool that it looks like the fish have a shadow underneath them. Like I wouldn't even have
Yeah.
thought that's awesome.
Yeah. So
What? That
thanks.
is gorgeous. I love it so much.
Okay,
I
thank
feel like
Very
the fish are
creative.
alive. Oh my gosh. I'm still so amazed at what our people come up with,
I
Hannah.
know, seriously. Who would have thought? Yeah, see, textiles
And
and
there's
fabric, I do not
Tony.
have any skill with that.
Ooh.
Ooh, Tony. I like your take on the background where it's more horizontal, smoother lines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I
is
love
paper,
that.
so I needed to work fast.
Oh, yeah. But
Super fast.
I'm loving your fish too. There's something about the patterning, like the colors
Yes.
on top of it. I love the way you swipe them in, the way you put them in.
Thank
You
you.
know what I love? How the fins look like they're in motion because you
Oh
painted them
yeah.
so lightly. They look like they're actually moving. because
Thank you.
koi fish, they go so fast. It
Yeah.
looks
like-
like there's like yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Guys, I'm heading out.
Good night.
Going to bed.
Yeah, good
night.
Okay.
night. How cool.
I am checking. If I've missed you, please just okay, there's Rachel.
Oh, yay, there's Rachel.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, there they are. I love the shading that you put on the lily pads.
I love the color of the lily pads.
Yeah. How cool. And I love the way you put the spots in there too.
I
Like,
just
they
kind of rolled with it because I don't know. They don't really have like a pattern, so I don't know what to do exactly. So I was like, I'm gonna make this as random as possible.
Yeah, no, that's exactly how the koi fish are. I love it.
I also love their little eyes.
I
I
know
just
their
think that's so
eyes.
cute. And it's just so bright. All the
This
colors.
one looks a little weird. Okay.
I love that guy. He's got a little mustache. He's got a mustache.
I
I
made
love
it
him.
black. I like the black lips on him. I just wanted him to be a little bit different because you can see his face.
He's got personality.
But I also love the fins too on the other two. Like, I love the fact that it's light. Like, you preserve the white paint on the outer edges, and I feel like that kind of makes it look like it's got a glowing effect. Yeah, it's cool. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I think the McGinleys would like to share. So I am.
Yeah, there it is. The only thing for sure.
Oh, and there
the
is
spaceship.
I was curious.
I know. I was wondering, how are you going to put a spaceship?
We could put a reflection of the spaceship. Oh, that's really cool. Look how shiny it
It's
is.
so
It's
cute.
Yeah,
It's
that's the only thing that's for sure is the spaceship. The other things, it could be a goldfish. That looks, I don't know what that is. It's coming into the frame, but
I love
don't
him.
I can tell those are koi fish.
I love
Oh,
that
well,
guy.
thank you.
Yes.
The guy with the red. I love him.
Alexa and Hannah, thank you all very much, and
Thank
thanks for
you.
Of course.
thanks for doing.
Thank you.
Any word on the Art Friends t-shirts?
It's been on my mind, and I know I keep saying that
Okay.
for the last
Well,
6 months.
You've had a lot of life happening.
I know, yeah, but I am still thinking about it. It's not been
All right.
forgotten.
What about the cruise?
Oh, we need a cruise
The
too.
sponsored cruise. I'm still waiting for that.
I've not forgotten
I'll
about
put
the
up with
sponsored cruise, everybody.
I'll put up with the seasickness.
Oh, you have purple in one of your fish.
Yes, the purple.
I love the purple. That's a good idea.
And is that magenta?
Well, do I have my audio on?
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Well, it was white and it looked so weird. So I had this dot here, so I'm going to make it darker. It just didn't look good what I did, so I just painted it like a fuchsia. But I got to add more stuff.
I love the background texture too, like
Yeah.
the water. I think the way you put it there, the way you put those brush strokes, it kind of looks like there's rocks down there.
I know. I thought I was going to go over it and not have it so just. But I think it looks kind of cool. Water.
I like it. Yeah.
I shake so.
Ladies.
Thank you. So
Yeah,
such
thank
great
you.
work as always.
Surprised me I shake so bad that I shake so bad.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, Laura.
Oh my gosh.
I love that one fish at the top that's like swimming upward.
Yes.
He's like in this section, like swimming upward. I love that guy.
Yes. Just the movement.
I know, yeah, it's something about the movement combined with like the texture of the colors. And the one that's down here on this side, like swimming upward. I love that one too.
And you know I had to use some purple.
Of course.
I love it.
Of course.
So is that the color that's in the one that's in this area?
Yeah,
Yeah,
here.
okay, it is purple.
That one came out more purple.
Yeah.
Initially the red, my red didn't come out looking red. It came out looking more like pink or magenta. I mixed some black with it, and then it looked more purplish. And I was like, oh, well, I'll just put some actual purple. So there's a little bit of
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's how, yeah, it just kind of morphed into that. I love it
And yeah, I was
though.
trying to get some more texture in this guy at the bottom.
Yeah, that's what I love about them though. It's the texture. It's the fact that you went with the shape of the fish, like the downward shape of the fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Also,
Thank
your
really
fish
good.
look really friendly. They
You know
give
what?
Really?
really
They
good vibes.
do. It's their, yeah, it's their eyes. There's
I
something
like
about
that.
the eyes. They're just happy fish swimming
They
around.
are. They're living their best fish life, and I love
Their
Mm-hmm.
it.
eyes are all different, so they must be, I don't know, different subspecies or something.
And they're
For
living in
me,
harmony.
for
You know why they look
me,
friendlier? They don't have the whiskers. Without the whiskers, they're way more friendly looking.
I feel like they have different personalities. Like
They
there's something about
do.
the eyes that make them seem like they have different personalities. I love that we're able to come up with so much
They're diverse,
personalities.
you know? They're not
Yes,
stuck on, we all gotta look alike.
My fake fish have
yes,
personality. I
They
like
all
it.
do.
do.
Yes.
They do.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank
Yes, thank
you.
Yay.
you.
All
Hi.
right.
Oh, yay. I love it, Katie. You caught up so
Thank you.
fast too.
I only got two fish because I spent a lot of class trying to catch up, but pretty good considering I missed the first half hour putting a kid to bed. But the top one for some reason like looks like a lobster to me. I don't
They have
I don't know
poisonality.
why.
They definitely have poisonality.
I
It's
didn't.
it's like they look kind of evil compared to the last ones we just saw.
I don't know
Oh,
about
I feel like
evil.
they are doing a synchronized swimming routine personally.
Oh, yeah,
That's what
Oh,
I feel like.
okay, I love that. So in high school I was a synchronized swimmer
Okay,
and
there you
yeah.
go.
yes, there you go.
Wow.
And that fact came up many times while we were kayaking this week, and I was just underwater upside down. And I was like, it's cool, guys. I used to do this all the time. Underwater upside down is not a problem. The rest of it, But yes, thank you so
Perfect.
much. This was really good.
Thank you,
Thank
Katie.
you. Perfect.
Honestly, I didn't see lobster until you said something.
It looks real lobstery to me. I don't know.
No,
I think maybe it's the coloring. I don't know.
it's
Let
the
me try to
color. It's a shape, I think. For me, it's a shape. But I
Yeah,
like
I
it.
don't know.
Lobster
Yeah,
fish.
it is what it's going to be at this point. Thanks, everybody.
Ah, I keep messing up.
Oh man.
You want to see so far?
Of
Yeah.
course.
We still have to see it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, there they are.
I
See,
still have to work on them, but
talk about personality. Like those eyes are so pretty.
I think I should darken them a little, like lighten the white in the eye. I was
Lighten
thinking
the
I should go.
white.
Oh, I think they're adorable.
Yeah,
I think
no,
they're
I
so
like
cute.
them.
Cute.
Yeah, I love them that way. I love that. And
I
I
think
love
those are
the
friendly.
I have to put in the water waves. The
oh
way for
yeah.
yeah, I have to get that in there. I keep messing up and going over with the blue.
I'm
Have to work
very
with blue.
impressed at how round you were able to make your lily pads. Especially with how big they are, it's hard to make them like round. Yeah, they're really nice, very nicely drawn.
I love koi. I love this project. It was very
Yay.
nice. Thank you. But I still have a lot of work to do on it.
Yeah,
So
I
got
also
it.
feel like Marcy's and Laura's fish would be friends. That's just
Oh,
kind
they're
of the
friends.
vibes I'm
Yeah.
getting right now. I'm
Mhm.
doing a lot of projecting. If we had like a therapist or something audit this call, it would be
Yeah,
interesting, is all I'm saying.
yeah, it
We
would
should
make
totally be friends.
you have the white over the. I have to do that. You see how the lily pads with the white over the fish, the water waves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I didn't do that yet. I have to do
Oh,
that.
that. Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you got this. You got this.
So it goes over the fish and stuff, does it?
Yeah, so if you can, um, try and just pretend that there's nothing there. It's just water. There's no fish there. Just go right over it.
Just go right over.
Easier said than done, but you can do it.
That part I haven't done yet. So
Yeah, it's
I messed up a whole fish and had to repaint it.
Yeah, that takes time.
Like I put the black spots in and didn't like it, so I tried to take them out, but it didn't work very well.
Okay, yeah, that black is powerful.
The middle fish, you see it's a different color. You see the black in it.
Oh yeah, underneath it. Now I see it.
I tried to wipe it out because it didn't like it. Kind of blended in, you know.
Oh yeah. If you wait for it to dry, you can put more of that light orange on top of it. It'll help.
Right. Well, the white went on top. I tried to cover it with yellow, didn't work. I tried it with orange, didn't work. So I went with the white, and that's the color that it wound up being.
Is anyone else still working on yours and you still want to share? I just want to make sure. Barbara, you're still working on yours? You still need some time?
I think I'm probably good.
Here, I'll go.
So I'm still in my watercolor era.
Okay, there you go.
That blending.
Beautiful.
I love that fish that's on the bottom and like all the blending that you did with the colors there.
It's a gradient.
I know, that is gorgeous.
Thank you.
I love that I can't tell where one color ends and another color begins. It's so pretty.
And then I wanted to do like a darker orange and white. And I'm like, how do I blend? So I put like a little gray in there.
Yeah, I like it. Well, I feel like the gray, it gives it more pop. Like it gives it more of that dimension. And the water you created is gorgeous too. God,
I am just so in awe how talented our people are.
I know, seriously.
All the time.
Anna, she does it for us.
I know, she is. She's incredible.
She's magic.
You guys, it's so good. I love seeing it.
Great job, Barbara.
Barbara, I love it. Thank you.
Love it.
Yay! Y'all don't forget to fill out the surveys. Of course, they are optional, but they help us a lot. Okay, so we have the before and the after survey. Anna Marie, I see your text. Thank you.
Thank you, of course, to you guys. Would it be at all possible to get the McGinley puppers to close us out?
I wish my camera was working because Cora's here too.
Oh my gosh, you have Cora?
Yeah. My camera's not working though. She's waiting for me to feed her.
All right, everybody. I want to wish you a very, very good night. We will actually see you again very shortly. And we enjoy this time with you so much. And we just always love seeing you and seeing what you come up with. And we've enjoyed building our relationship with you and watching you grow as well. So thank you so much for the privilege of just sharing space with you once a month. And in this month, it's twice a month. So we're really glad about that. So good night, everybody. And thank you.
Very well said, Alexa. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.